You're listening to episode 54 of Fresh Floppies, the freshest of floppies on this episode, the 54th of which is right now.
What's up to our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the Mother Living Geek Nation? This is
Mother
Fresh
lovin'.
Floppies.
Flop and fresh.
Show wherein Noel and I discuss the books that are coming out today at your local comic shop. It's new book day.
Today is new comic book day.
Actually, it's Tuesday. So
But this'll be
tomorrow's new
Wednesday.
book day.
But the people that are listening to this, it'll be Wednesday, probably?
Maybe.
Let's be honest.
And we're going to be talking about spoiler-free, some of the books that hit shelves this week. New comic book day.
It's a slobber knocker of a hit
It is
this week. It's knocked slobber out of faces with the amount of comics that came out today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to get started?
I think we should start with a large book, perhaps the largest, perhaps the most ultimate of titles that came out this week.
The Ultimates #1 from Marvel Comics.
Written by
Huh?
Dennis Camp with art by Juan Frigera.
Nailed it.
Frigeri. Sorry, I always get his name wrong. Juan Frigeri is the previous artist on, I think it was Al Ewing's Guardians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I enjoy his art. It's good stuff. Anyway, what do you think?
What is this? The fourth Ultimate book?
Are we really keeping track? No, yeah.
It's Spider-Man, Black Panther, X-Men.
Not counting Ultimate Invasion, which is the kickoff book.
What was the other one? Ultimate?
So it's Ultimate Invasion, 4
Ultimate
issues, then
Universe.
Ultimate Universe, which was a one-shot, and then Spider-Man, Black Panther, X-Men, and now this.
Yeah.
This is basically a direct sequel to Ultimate
Invasion.
Universe.
Oh, Universe.
Or Invasion/Universe.
Those.
Actually, a bunch of stuff happened in Ultimate Universe, too. Yeah, this is a sequel to those two books.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dealing with, so for anyone who doesn't know, the maker, a.k.a. Evil Reed Richards from the previous Ultimate Universe, went into this Ultimate Universe and was like, I'm going to own shit, so I'm going to make sure that no one's got powers. I'm going to go crush little irradiated spiders. I'm going to make sure that gamma bombs don't go off, etc., etc.
He basically manipulated the entirety of this reality to not have superheroes.
But the Ultimates, including Tony Stark, Iron Lad, and Thor, and another effed up Reed Richards, who's also Dr. Doom in this reality.
Yeah, he refers to himself as Doom.
Let's go try and make things right.
I love this Reed. This
was awesome.
This Reed Richards that is in the Doom mask in general. He was a prisoner of the Maker because the Maker needed just another smarty.
Yeah.
So he basically tortured and gaslit this Reed into hating himself and wearing an iron mask and blah blah blah. And he will not allow you to call him Reed. He is Doom. He is Dread. He is
kind of neat.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
What did you think of this Reed?
I thought this was a really fun book. It captured the Hickman of it all without being dense.
Yep.
The story trick, the story framing of this book is, so in Ultimate Invasion, Howard Stark was the Iron Man, and he kind of passively went along with this new world order of oppression because it allowed him to do other good things.
Yeah.
So the framing of this story is Iron Lad, Tony Stark, coming to terms with his father, like literally talking to his dead father about, you were a failure, I'm going to do better.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And like, especially when he sees, they're trying to put together, they have 2 years until the Maker comes back.
Yeah.
For the Maker, who is stuck in this alternate reality, this world, it will be thousands of years.
Yeah.
For them, it will be 18 months. So they have 18 months to prepare for a 1,000-year planned invasion.
Yes.
And they need a team.
Yeah.
This is just this is wild, big, crazy shit. I love it.
Yeah, I really liked it. My favorite panel is, I don't want to spoil it, but that one involving Captain America.
Oh yeah, that's right. So good. Also, too, this Captain America. So how do you feel about Ultimate Captain America?
Well, the way I understand Ultimate Captain America is that the regular Captain America in the 616 is how America should be. And the Ultimate Captain America of previous iterations was how America kind of is.
Okay.
And I kind of appreciated that take on the character.
I appreciated taking the character, but I did not enjoy reading it. So
no, he's not a nice dude. He's a soldier.
He's a bit of a he's pragmatic, but he's also like a curt piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like you can't hate him. He functioned almost as like an anti-hero in the earlier stuff.
Yes.
The later stuff, they kind of
they
slowly moved him towards just being
Cap.
Yeah.
The Cap we know.
But this is kind of like an in-between of he's a pragmatic soldier who does understand the big stuff, but he also gets that like you start revolutions on the ground, not big ideas and with science.
Yeah.
Which was refreshing.
I was not sure how I was going to respond to this because I don't know the name Denise Camp or Dennis.
Dennis.
Do you know Dennis Camp from
20th
something?
Century Men? 20th Century
Boys?
It was a series that
20th
just came.
Century
Yeah,
Men,
he was an
something
indie
like that.
comic creator. Yeah. I read the first issue. I really liked it. I never read the whole trade, but I'm going to go back and do it.
So I wasn't looking forward to this because I'm like, I don't know either of those names. But I was really pleasantly surprised by this.
Do you think this is accessible?
Oof. Sort of, mostly.
I think that
they catch you up on everything you need to know in the primer.
The intro page, the
Intro page.
description
Previously on.
does well.
Yes.
I think it lifts a lot without being cumbersome, unlike another book that came out this week. I think it's accessible enough, but you know what? This is the kind of accessible, I would say anybody could pick this up. If it inspires you to read Ultimate Invasion, it did its job well.
Yeah.
But you won't be lost if you didn't.
That's what I think.
If anything, it should inspire. Like, that stuff was good.
It was okay.
The Hitch stuff wasn't
like
great.
Kicking off the new Ultimate Universe, I found it to be a little lacking. I was a little bit like, oh, okay.
I kind of loved it. I loved it. I loved it for the story part, like the big swings and like, oh, you're not really rebooting. You're manipulating
Tinkering,
and doing
yes.
crazy stuff. I thought that was pretty
That's
cool.
That's a cool idea.
But the Hitch art didn't really grab me. It was fine.
Yeah.
There was no real action. It was just basically a talkie book for 4 issues.
Yes, it was.
Which to me is fine.
Yeah.
But I get it if it's meh to others. Yeah.
Pretty fresh.
I think it's pretty damn fresh. This
Yeah.
is of all of the Ultimate Universe books right now, the only one that I'm having trouble with is X-Men. But I appreciate it.
Yes.
But I'm having trouble with it. Yeah.
And you were telling me about Ultimate Black Panther.
Oh, I think it's
good it is.
I'm loving it. I think
Yeah.
it's kicking. I think it's starting to kick ass. Like the first issue was like, okay, it's Black Panther.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's that guy. We know him.
But it's I think it's really hitting.
Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, #1 from Image Comics by Jerry Duggan and Gary Brown, with color by Chris O'Halloran and letters by Joe Sabino. I just like the title of this, and the cover of it is a little bit of Star Wars. I guess maybe just because of the background, it kind of looks like Vader. And then we've got a cowboy and a samurai woman, and I didn't know what to expect with this at all, but I think it was pretty cool. What did you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. This is so weird and high concept. It reminded me of the other Jerry Duggan book that no one talks about, The Dark Room.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow. I forgot about
fun
that.
art, really high concept, supernatural / grounded.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really cool idea. You know, like her, in that book, the sidekick is a ghost skeleton that died in the 70s, wears a tracksuit and a Daft Punk helmet.
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird, and it's fun. Her ex-boyfriend's a werewolf. This is the same kind of weird and fun of, like, maybe it's purgatory, maybe it's something else, but, like, on one side of the world, a Western outlaw maybe is dead or dies in vengeance, and on the other side of the world in feudal Japan, a lost samurai also goes out in a blaze of glory, and then they wake up on the same beach.
Yep.
Like, what the hell's going on? But what did you think of the art?
Oh, at times I loved it. At other times I thought it was a little loose.
So I'm gonna throw one of those comps at you, like, oh, this is like this or this mixed. You're gonna be all like, oh, and then you're gonna get revolted. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's like if you took Sean Murphy,
Okay.
and put him in a blender with good Howard Chaykin.
Oh no, you're right.
Yep, especially that panel right
this
there.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Howard Chaykin. You are not a fan.
No. Oh shit.
I like
you're right.
good Chaykin.
Yeah.
I don't like weird fingers and no feet Chaykin.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
this
not
is
bad actually. You're not.
this
you're
is
not wrong.
this is totally and then because it's totally got Sean Murphy kind of colors.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the inks are like, especially in the Western setting, is very Sean Murphy, and then all of a sudden there's close-ups on faces or some panel progression. You're like, even the way that like some fabrics are done, you're like, oh, this is pretty Chaykin influence too. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this was great. I was really surprised by how good this was.
Yeah, it's a meaty book, but it's not cumbersome. Like that first page was 3 paragraphs of text, and I'm like, oh no, but I read through it and I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Interesting text. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a good indie book to jump on, this is the one. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell.
Yeah, this is definitely really cool.
I don't know if it's fresh AF.
I think it's very fresh.
Very fresh.
Very fresh.
Yes.
Awesome first issue.
Yes.
Speaking of a first issue,
It all begins here.
or 151st issue, what are we doing here? What's going on?
It's a prelude to TMNT #1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Alpha.
By Chris Aaron and Jason Aaron and Chris Burnham and Brian Reber, and then another story by Tom Waltz, Gavin Smith, and Rhonda Pattison. So I am very much looking forward to the Turtles quote unquote reboot that's going to be spearheaded by Jason Aaron. And I ordered this thinking, yeah, this is it. We're getting started. It's a prelude. It's time to jump on to Jason Aaron's Turtles. And then it's
10 pages.
Is it 10?
I just counted. It's
Thank
10
you.
pages.
10 pages.
A story, a side story, it seems, with art by Chris Burnham. It's only about one of the turtles.
Yes.
And it only makes, I guess it makes sense, but it only really makes sense if you know what happened in issue 50.
150?
Yeah.
No, I think it's fine.
It's fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know why he's in this mental state.
Uh-huh.
But if you didn't, then it's just kind of like, why isn't Donnie acting
I forgot
like
why
Donnie?
he's in this mental state.
See, there you go.
Yeah, and it
But I guess it didn't bother
me. I
you.
was like, okay,
Yeah.
something happened, and he's
Yeah.
in this mental state. And so, you get about 10 pages of the new, I don't want to say status quo, but the new story by Jason Aaron.
How'd you think of... Let's just talk about that.
Okay.
How'd you think of Chris Burnham on this book? What'd you think of the
great.
story? Yeah,
It's great.
I know a lot of... I didn't know that people dislike Chris Burnham. I think he's wonderful.
Why do they dislike him? I didn't like him when he started on Batman.
It's got a like early Derek Robertson vibe. It's a little grimy.
Yeah, it is.
I think some people may reject that in regards to Turtles.
I think this
it's
looks
a little
perfect
darker.
For,
It's a little
for Turtles.
I
For
think
these
it-
Turtles.
Yeah.
For these Turtles.
Yes.
Yes. Not the
but
animated series
yeah,
Turtles.
I wouldn't necessarily immediately equate like, oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's get Chris Burnham on there. Yeah.
But I think it's great.
I think it's awesome too.
I'm a fair weather Chris Burnham fan. It really depends on the book he's on. But
It depends on the weather.
yeah, of the other day.
If you like, it's like if it's sunny out, I'm a Burnham fan. If it's raining, get away.
Yeah, give me Jay Lee.
Get away. Ooh, no.
So, you hate Jay Lee.
I do.
I love Jay Lee. So that's the first 10 pages of this extreme, like two
It's a
issues
thicky boy.
worth of books.
It's maybe like 30, 40 issues.
And
30,
then-
40 pages.
Yeah. And then there's, what is it, Mutant Island?
Wait. It's not really yet. You got 2.5 pages of character bios.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 character bios that you have to get in to start reading Mutant Island.
And it's not like just names and faces. There's a paragraph or two per person, which I know you may be listening to this and thinking like, oh, good.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. This isn't a jumping on point. This is issue 151 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which stars nary a turtle.
Jenica's in
Oh,
one
I'm sorry.
scene.
You're right.
Jenica's in one scene.
It's a more recent turtle.
This is like a side. This is a side series that they're starting.
Yes.
So this is weird. This is like cake and eat it too. They wanted to reboot the book with a new creative team, but I guess they want to continue the at this point pretty convoluted continuity of Mutant Island and United Nations and Baxter Stockman and Old Hob and the training force and the mayor, like all the stuff that was happening in New York for the last 150
Mutant Town.
issues. Mutant Town, yeah.
Yeah, there's a hard switch to like The Wire,
It wants
but
to
not
be
as good.
And then like PTSD and like it's
150 issues of continuity.
a heavy lift, man.
Yeah, man.
And also I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real.
You go.
I'm gonna be real.
Finally.
Yeah. All this time it's been fake.
Yeah.
Reading through this, I remembered why I stopped reading the TMNT title around issue 10.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
It's not that like all of the aspects of it totally fine with it. It is so boring to read.
Yeah.
I
think I liked it slightly more than that. I wasn't bored.
I was bored.
But I don't particularly care.
It was a struggle. It reads like somebody's just telling me what's happening as opposed to me like enjoying visiting these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like it reads like a Wikipedia page, like a laundry list, and like this person knows this person who does this person. Have you seen that person? Oh no, they're gonna get in trouble. We should stop that person from doing that thing with the thing. Like
you're right.
it is so
There's also
boring. It's
there's
like
also
by the numbers.
One character is out for vengeance because what he did, for what Old Hob did to him and his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's out for vengeance and he's there to take him down. And then basically it's like Old Hob's like, hold up, this other thing is happening. What if you don't? And he's like, okay, I guess we're friends now. Cool. Like what?
Yeah, it's like conflict by numbers. It's just very boring to read. I know that some people absolutely adore the Turtles book, especially that first 100 issues written by the same writer, Tom Waltz.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I loved the Sophie Campbell stuff, but this is just more of that old stuff. So if you were a fan of Tom Waltz's TMNT,
Fear not.
you've got a new book coming out called Mutant Nation in September.
Yep.
And you know you can maintain your arbitrary Jason Aaron hate because you don't have to whatever. I thought this book was barely fresh.
Yeah. I was really disappointed. I mean, also, I can't tell if it's my own expectations that are the problem, but it all begins here. Makes it seem like it's a good jumping on point, and I'm not entirely sure it's worth it.
This 10 pages should have been the free comic book day.
Yes.
And just leave it at that.
I was thinking that earlier.
And they did the Night Watcher, the Night Hunter, the Night Stalker book.
Yep.
That should be in here. This should just be like a Turtle Nation or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha primer book of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the fact that they slapped on a short story by Jason Aaron on this, I don't think is these two stories in this book are night and day, and it just thematically doesn't make sense. You do like if you want to launch the Turtles outright, do that separately, and then this continuing world stuff in its own like kind of primer book. I think they. I'm gonna put my business hat on. I think they bundled this.
I'm kind of disappointed. I was looking forward to a fresh start. I didn't realize that this was going to be just continuing the series as it's been going for the past 10 years. I kind of thought it was like a reboot.
Now, I'm okay with either one, but hopefully it's more like the Aaron stuff in here where I don't necessarily need to know that. Yeah. Like if he just presents the story in such a way where I don't necessarily need to know it, and here we are now, great. Yeah. But if it's like the second half of this book, where it's 9 character bios and speed rounding 100 issues of continuity just to marginally enjoy the story, I don't care. I don't have time.
All right. Well, barely fresh.
For me, it's barely fresh.
Yeah, same.
Hey, you read a book that I didn't read.
I did.
Because I don't know how to read.
My Adventures with Superman #1 from DC Comics, an all-new story set between seasons 1 and 2 by Josie Campbell, who works on the show.
She does?
I keep seeing the name Josie Campbell
on
fantastic.
The show. I didn't know that.
And art by Pablo M. Collar.
Question before you get into this book.
Yes.
I didn't finish season 1 yet. Do I need to?
No.
Cool. Perfect.
Nope.
Awesome.
This is you can jump right into this.
Awesome.
I will say I love My Adventures with Superman, the cartoon. I think it is baller. So much so that I actually printed myself a t-shirt featuring this version of his S-Shield. And this was fun. This was really fun. It really feels like the cartoon, minus some of the more anime and goofier scenes. Because sometimes it'll really sort of switch gears in the episodes. where like all of a sudden a spotlight will come on and people will do wacky stuff. Like there's some like gags to it, right? This feels more like a straightforward story. Superman has Thanksgiving coming up, and so Jimmy and Lois are trying to plan him a good Thanksgiving, and also some action happens.
Do both Jimmy and Lois know?
Yes.
They do, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I thought so.
Which is another thing I appreciate about the series is that they really fast forwarded all the will they, won't they? Oh,
They're just in a couple.
she almost found out, but but she didn't because she's dumb. And this one's just like, yeah, she knows, he knows. Great, moving on. So yeah, this was actually quite delightful.
This I'm gonna read this. I like the art style because it is reminiscent of the show. It's not like
It's
jarring
not
at all.
quite like the
It's
cover.
close.
The
It's close
cover
enough.
looks exactly like the cartoon. The interiors are slightly different.
Yeah, but they're close enough. They're
No,
like
it's close
thematically in
enough,
style,
yes.
you know.
But like I was hoping for this sort of almost JDsHero style.
I'm not as hot on Geary Hero than as everyone else is.
That's cool.
But I like this. This is good.
Yeah, it's really fun. I would say if you're not,
The panel progression's really good too.
oh yeah,
Like the
no, it's
panel
good
work is
comic.
really good.
If,
Yeah,
if
this
you're not
looks.
enjoying My Adventures with Superman the cartoon, don't bother.
But no, actually, I would. So just flipping through this, I didn't get a chance to read it. This seems like this is good comic booking,
Yeah.
and seems pretty damn accessible. So even if you're not into the cartoon, this is just cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like oftentimes when they do series like this, where it's like IP based or Between the Weeds and stuff, it's half-assed.
Yes.
This doesn't look half-assed
No,
at all.
it's not.
So I would say, like, even if you're not enjoying the show, this is a good, like, young Superman story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just give it to the kids.
Oversell it, my dude.
All right.
Very, very, very
Oh,
barely.
I would say pretty fresh.
Pretty fresh.
Pretty fresh.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm going to talk about a book that took me a long time to read. It's written by Jerry Duggan, Kieran Gillen, Al Ewing, with art by Joshua Cassara, Phil Noto, Lucas Wernick, Linnell Francis Yu, Walter Simonson, Mark Brooks, John Romita Jr., Jerome Pena, Luciano Vecchio, Stefano Caselli, Sarah Pacelli, Chris Claremont,
Jesus.
with some writing by Chris Claremont, Salvador LaRocca, writing by Gail Simone, Jed McKay, and art by Javier Garon.
Holy cats.
I'm, of course, talking about X-Men number 35, or, if you want to call it Uncanny X-Men number 700. This is the finale / coda to all things Krakoan Age. Yeah. You know what this reminded me of? So I read 2/3 of the Krakoan Age, and then I bounced out after the last Hellfire Gala, mostly just because it was impossible
to keep up with.
Dude.
Yup.
It's not even impossible to keep up with. I like reading other things also.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
So I wasn't going to jump back and forth between 4 different miniseries and 3 mains in order to find out what happens next in complete out of order, right? So I don't care. But I wanted to give this a shot because this is basically ending / beginning, because like the second half of this book is a little bit of meh.
Oh yeah, From the Ashes.
A little bit.
Sweet.
Like the last little chunk by Judd McKay and Gail Simone, and then there's a interstitial by Chris Claremont and Salvador LaRocca. But the most of the book is Jerry Duggan, Kieran Gillen, and Al Ewing, and then a bevy of artists just like wrapping up plot threads, which is what this felt like. It felt like disjointed, wrapped up plot threads, one after the other, after the other, after the other. Some of them I understood, some of them I didn't get. Artist shifting, which made the scene wild. Do you remember I think it was like the final issue of New Avengers, and Bendis would make it a jam issue.
Yeah.
Where it's like him as the writer and then like 70 artists. You'd have the main artist that does like the first chunk, but then like for an action scene it would be a constant like switch of artists. Or remember when we did the thing and it was the original, like stuff like that.
Kind of cool.
This tries to do that.
Oh.
It's mostly Cassara, and then Phil Noto jumps in a lot. Like I almost feel like Phil Noto does most of the art in here, and then Okay, there's even more to get into. Like the whole first sequence is pretty cool and pretty enjoyable. Of like, hey, why are they transporting and getting rid of Xavier, and Wolverine wants to kill him, and Magneto stops him, and like, yeah, and then it smashes to the credits page with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decent sized paragraphs of previously on.
Oh, jeez.
And I read them to you out loud before the show started, and it's like the first 2 paragraphs is like, oh yeah, that's the 4 years of comic I read. Cool.
Yeah.
The last 2 paragraphs are just wild and weird, and I didn't get it, and I have no idea what's happening.
Well, it's because you only read 3/4 of Krakoa.
But I wasn't ignoring what was going on, and I guess just in the fall and rise, all of this other stuff happened in rapid succession.
I'm reading it now.
And what?
I still don't know.
I'm
glad you read me that, even though it spoiled some stuff for me. I'm glad you read some of that, because even though I'm reading Fall and Rise, I'm still going, what is this thing? And then it explains it in this previously on. I'm going to go, oh, that's what I'm reading. Okay.
Yeah, I want to get into like deep spoilers about how stuff in here was wrapped up, because it's just it's so fast.
Yeah.
It's like they had 6 years and then only really started wrapping it up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like it's, dude, it's quick, or slow, quick.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for the next thing. I really am.
Me too.
I'm done.
I really feel like they mishandled the great setup that they were given by Hickman.
Well, they're doing it again. There's 10 books announced for the new.
I hate
into
it.
The,
I hate that they do that
from
with the
Ashes.
X-Men. Like they must all sell. Like I don't know why they
I'm
keep
sure
doing
they do,
it,
but
like so many people are like, I don't know what to read.
But they sell at the risk of fast burnout.
Yeah. So
it's like.
I was really looking forward to seeing how this wraps up, and I am struggling to get through Fall and Rise.
I mean, if you've got a completionist muscle, that you have to flex, go for it. But I honestly don't see reading this issue. I don't see the value in bothering.
Oh man.
Because it also too there's a fairly large character turn in the middle of this book, which results in like the largest action scenes. And it's a complete reversal of how this character's been treated since the Krakoan age started. It's like a quick no, I don't think that anymore.
Oh, man.
Maybe it was
disappointed.
Maybe it was seeded, but maybe I don't know.
It feels like another Clone Saga from the 90s of like I started off like, oh my god, this is awesome, and then just slowly had the life drained out of me because of it.
Now this there's a afterwards there's a in between, like that main story just kind of ends in I guess a big emotional beat. I don't know, it didn't really mean much to me.
Okay.
I guess.
But then you get a taste of what's coming up?
Yeah, you get a taste of what's coming up. You get a nice little coda, which is pretty cool, with Mystique, who's also dope. And then another little coda with Xavier. But then a side story about Destiny and Mystique's children, which is Rogue and Kurt.
Okay.
With Salvador Lorca art. So I'm going to be honest with you, I skipped it. I just straight up skipped it.
Gotcha.
But then we get like a primer of all the new X-Men coming by Jed McKay and Javier Garron's art's great. It ends with like a big oh my god. It's cool. This is like this last 12 pages I thought was absolutely awesome.
Nice. So it's like the reverse of TMNT.
Basically.
Well, Noel, I want to end.
You want to end? Do you want to end this?
I want to end with a positive note.
All positivity here. We don't.
Energon Universe has been.
I've never heard of it.
Knocking my socks off. It's been awesome.
No idea what you're talking about.
Basically, it's been Void Rivals, Transformers, Duke, and Cobra Commander, and every single one of them has been baller as far as I'm concerned. Duke and Cobra Commander, the miniseries have ended, and they were both great.
Both characters killed off. We'll never see them again.
Yeah, they're forever.
Yeah.
But Scarlett starts now. And that is by Kelly Thompson and Marco Ferrari with colors by Lee Lowridge and letters by Wes Wooten.
Yeah, Lee Lowridge. they're writing a book that's coming out that I'm very excited about. But anyway,
okay.
it's irregardless. What'd you think of this book?
This is another good one. It's another banger.
Yeah, there's something in the water.
I will say my one negative for this is what's the artist? Marco Ferrari. Marco Ferrari, there's a couple of sequences in here that I go, wait, what? Wait, what's happening? What's happening in this panel? But then also this panel progression has me confused, and I actually had to go back several times to be like, wait, what's going on?
You're talking about the beginning? I was going to say that was one of my favorite parts. The panel layout, how he did the almost dialogue less. Like the whole first sequence, I was just in of her like getting ready and switching and arriving and blah blah blah, and then it kind of hits at that party, and then I don't know, it put me in the mood, and I had no trouble with the panel layout.
Great.
Yeah. What did I miss?
Oh, I mean, I can't explain it. It's an audio show. But the rest of the book I loved. I like the setup with everything that's going on here, what she's up to, certain friends of hers that I've seen before in previous G.I. Joes, but I don't think it's ever been, they've ever had that sort of relationship before. So I like that the Energon universe is taking the previously established characters and sort of just like blendering them a little bit to
I
have different outcomes.
Reading this book, which I enjoyed a lot, I wish they blended them a little more. Wish they had the stones to blend them a little
further.
Because it's there.
I see.
It's
I agree.
Subtextual.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to that. But this is still pretty dope.
Yeah.
Good cliffhanger. Nice little note at the back. Kelly Thompson has another successful comic book under her belt, and she can't be stopped.
I do wish it was a different artist. Although the art is very
I think
adequate.
sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's a little loose.
Yes.
The action I liked, but there's a couple of like beats where the faces change a little, the characters change. Like it's almost arbitrary. Because like some artists will do like hyper detailed, and then when the action starts, they get loose, and it's a choice. It's intentional. This is a little bit more of a mixed bag, in so much as it's tight, and then for no reason it's a little loose, and then like the face changes a little bit, and because this book has it all. It's got, in so much as all of the areas of difficulty, action, talky scenes, but then also in context flashbacks at different points in time, and like it plays a lot with the structure of the book, so he has to maybe work a little harder. Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot to mess up. There's a lot of opportunity to mess up.
I'm really struggling with the name, but Wesley Dodds Sandman.
Oh, Riley Rossmo.
Gives me a little bit of it's giving me Riley Rossmo vibes.
It's a sexy Riley Rossmo.
Yeah. A certainly more contained Riley Rossmo. Yeah. But again, another Energon book that I'm enjoying.
A tight Rossmo?
Tight Rossmo.
Well, that was just a splattering of the books that came out this week. Anything else that you're looking forward to reading, and why is it Amazing Spider-Man number 51?
Damn it. Yeah.
Why
We're the
is
only
it
two people loving this book.
Oh, there's like 3 others. Yeah,
we have a support group.
Yeah, I think
meeting at the church on Wednesday nights.
Crushing Crisis, I think, doesn't hate it. A couple people on Twitter are like, I think the iFanboy guys like it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
nice.
Almost every single time they talk about it, I think Connor's like, for some reason, I'm the only one that likes this. But let me tell you why. Yeah,
great.
So just old people.
Yeah, just old heads who are like, See, comics are cyclical.
Yeah, obviously.
Those of us who get it.
Let me see what else is coming out this week. I'm excited about the very large Grimm slipcase hardcover edition.
Oh, yes.
Because I read the first trade of that, and I really, really liked it. Ooh, yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you what else I'm excited about. It is a previously published series called Spider-Man Reign from about 10 to 15 years ago by Carl Ray Andrews. Weird as hell Spider-Man book. Very specifically trying to be Spider-Man Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, yeah.
And the sequel, Spider-Man Reign 2, is coming soon, so I'm going to dip back in and revisit this new trade paperback that they finally are releasing. It's back in print.
Does it have a parental advisory on it?
T+.
Interesting. Does that mean that they changed some art?
Why is it?
The original publication had some nude.
No kidding.
Peter.
Oh, I guess I kind of remember that.
Peter.
Peter's Peter?
Yeah.
Well, I'll take a look and let you know.
And I heard that digitally they changed it and blah, 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 and yada, yada.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was getting this in issues. This is a weird book that a lot of people online boil down to one punchline.
Yeah.
And even in the context of the book, that punchline is not what the joke is.
No. That punchline horrified me. Like, are we talking about Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. As I was reading it, I was like, oh my God, that's... No.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, that's horrible. I hate, like, especially knowing Peter. And
well, okay, wait, you're taking it in good faith. You're taking it in good faith of how it's in the context of the comic, but other people will just talk about that and say, this is the dumbest shit ever. Isn't that the comic where that thing happens?
Yeah.
Oh, that's stupid.
And what I'm saying is, when I read it in the comic that it happened in, it horrified me.
And I'm saying, good faith you,
yes,
bad faith the internet.
Yes.
And they didn't even read it, and they're just talking about the punchline.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Bunch of jerks.
I'm not equating you with them. No. How dare you? Go take a seat.
Okay, bye.
Breathe. This week on the show, the CultPop Podcast live stream on Wednesday nights. Tonight, when you're listening to this, we're going to talk about Acolyte.
The first 2 seasons dropped?
Episodes?
Yeah, first 2 episodes. Yeah.
Yep, there's
first 2 minutes.
17 episodes right now.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I like the High Republic.
You guys are at least going to talk about the first episode. I don't know if you're going to talk about both. Yeah. But yeah, join us for that 8 p.m. on YouTube's or wherever you stream content, CultPop Podcast.
Otherwise, we will see you here next week,
where we talk about friendship.
Thanks so much, and we'll talk at you later.
Doo-doo-doo.
Oh, every day I hear knock, knock, knock.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.